From the NewsChannel 5 network, this is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm NewsChannel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. 2020 has been a year of controversy, not only in dealing with the coronavirus pandemic, but also multiple incidents involving African Americans and people of color being shot, killed, or dying while in custody of law enforcement. All over the country, those incidents have led to calls for change, for protests, to end racial injustice, police brutality, and to defund police. There have even been some riots. All that happened here in Nashville, with Metro Police Chief Steve Anderson stepping down under fire after 10 years as the city's top cop. After a months-long nationwide search, we have a new chief in Nashville. He is John Drake, a 30-year-plus veteran of the Metro Police Department. Chief Drake is our guest on Inside Politics this week. Chief, thank you so much for being with us on the show. Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. Look forward to the conversation.
You were named acting chief when Steve Anderson retired. Did you feel that even though you were in an interim capacity, you had to do something in the job to show that you were the right person for it on a permanent basis? And what did you do?
Absolutely, I did. I felt like I needed to run the police department as if I had already been appointed and was the permanent chief. And so I began making changes with some of our proactive efforts, scaling that back to do more community engagement, to better connect with the community. Also, I felt we had some people that we hadn't connected with in the past, and that we needed to make inroads there too, like Gideon's Army and NOAA and the COB, to make those relations. And so I felt like I needed to do a lot more. Just run it as if though I'd already been appointed.
One of the big changes you mentioned is your relationship with the Community Oversight Board. That was something that Chief Anderson never really seemed to warm up to. What did you try? Did you approach that with some trepidation yourself? And do you feel like you've made a pretty good relationship moving forward?
I feel like we've made a pretty good relationship. That was one of the things I wanted to do right off the bat. I'm a native Nashvilleian. I believe in our community. We had over 130,000 people vote for the Community Oversight Board, and they strongly support oversight of the police department. I believe in that, and I felt like we needed to get an MOU signed, which we have. And one, it builds transparency. It shows community that we don't have anything to hide, that we want officers to be held accountable. We want oversight of our department. And I think it builds more trust in the community. And that's what I was hoping to accomplish. And really people that see that we signed an agreement and that we're working together and we're communicating, they feel like that good things are beginning to happen.
You've recently had an incident here. They've recently had an incident here in town where a man was tased and ultimately died in police custody. He was tased twice. You've looked over the police body cam video. You think everything was done by the board. The man did have a gun involved. The TBI is investigating, as they do all these cases across the state. Has the Metro Oversight Board asked for any information so they can do an investigation?
Well, they will. I'm sure they'll look at it and have some type of investigation. But we reached out to them and wanted them to see the video as well. And so that's just what we're doing now. We're being transparent. We have absolutely nothing to hide, whether it's done the right way or maybe there needs to be improvements. But we've shared that with the Community Oversight Board, with the director, and they didn't have any concerns. I'm sure they'll review it more in depth when the opportunity allows for it, but we've shared with them.
One of your first actions as chief was to create an Office of Community Engagement. What does that mean, and what will the office seek to accomplish? How will the public know there's a difference?
Well, the big thing that I've been pushing is community engagement and connecting with people where they are. Traditionally, there have been some people reluctant to reach out to the police department. And so by establishing an Office of Community Engagement and Partnerships, then we can reach out to communities that feel disenfranchised and also vulnerable. For instance, look at the Kurdish and Muslim community. They said they haven't had any real interaction with the police department since 2004. And they long for some type of relationship, not only with the police department, but maybe to build bridges to where we can hire some Kurdish and Muslim Muslim and Kurdish community to become police officers. We also have a Laotian officer that can reach out to the Laotian community, and so we can just build those connections.
You're also making a change internally with creating a new interpersonal crimes branch within the Investigative Services Bureau. Again, for the public, what will they see and how will this make Nashville better in terms of fighting crime and supporting the community?
Well, you take the interpersonal crimes branch that's being created and you put a commander over it, and their sole job is to connect all of those services. So you take the domestic violence division, where those crimes historically are underreported, but very prevalent. 1 in 4 women will be assaulted by a suspect. Then you take youth services, where you have child abuse, but then also you have a rise in juvenile crime, something that we can approach as well. And then you have sex crimes and trafficking. And so all those go hand in hand. You may have someone that's married or dating someone that's been raped, that children have been abused, but they're also being trafficked. And so by bringing all them together to have communications, to streamline our efforts, I think we can help people more and provide more services.
I'm told over the years that the most dangerous situation that a policeman faces is coming into on a scene to handle domestic violence situations, and also people with potential mental illnesses or mental issues. Wouldn't officers want some help in terms of de-escalation, to have somebody like a social worker and others also coming, or maybe them handling those kinds of jobs rather than the police having to do it?
Well, it'd be good to partner. That's something that we've been talking about as a co-response model. Where we have a plainclothes officer or officers respond with mental health experts. The thing is that officers the state requires 40 hours of training for crisis intervention. Our officers are trained over 100 hours, and so they have the training, but it'd be good to partner with the experts. Well, when it comes to domestic violence, we have over 24,000 calls for service. It'd be difficult to have mental health experts respond to all of those. But when we have people that are in crisis situations, then I think that would be a good approach to do a co-response.
Metro Police Chief, new Metro Police Chief John Drake is our guest on Inside Politics. Back to continue our conversation with him after this break.